Bernice wiped the thick, salty load from her chin with the back of her hand, smearing it into her wrinkled skin like a cheap moisturizer. Twitch zipped up his fly and let out a wheezing sigh, looking satisfied with himself, the picture of a dirty old man who just had his rocks off. "Not done," Bernice rasped, her eyes narrowing into slits of pure, unadulterated lust. She grabbed Twitch by the ear and spun him around, pushing him backward until his back slammed against a stack of wet, soggy cardboard boxes behind the dumpster. The cardboard squelched under his weight, mixing with the smell of garbage and fermented milk. "You think you can just dump a load on me and call it a day?" she hissed, ripping her dress open again, exposing her ancient, sagging breast to the moonlight. "You think 84 is the end of the line? You think this old box is empty?" Twitch groaned, his dick already flagging. "Easy, sweetheart. I'm an old man. I got a heart condition." "Shut up and fuck me, you lazy bastard," Bernice screamed, straddling his lap. She grabbed his flaccid penis and slapped it against her thigh, the sound like a wet towel hitting a gym floor. "Wake it up. I want to feel you inside me before I turn into a prune." She shoved him down onto the mushy cardboard, pinning his arms to his sides. "You think you're too tired? You think you're too weak? I've got the energy of a nuclear reactor, and you're going to help me release the pressure." She grabbed his hips and slammed herself down on him. It took a moment for him to find the hole, but once he did, he grunted in surprise. She was tight, hot, and incredibly wet from the previous encounter. "Oh, yeah," Twitch cried out, his eyes bulging. "You're tight. You're squeezing me like a vice. Is that all you got?" Bernice laughed, bouncing up and down with a ferocity that shook the cardboard boxes around them. "I want it hard. I want it rough. I want to feel like I'm being gutted like a fish." She leaned forward, her face inches from his, her breath smelling of whiskey and cheap lipstick. "You're going to tear this old pussy apart, Twitch. You're going to rip the stitching. You're going to make it bleed." She dug her nails into his shoulders, leaving deep red crescent moons that would bruise in the morning. She rode him like a wild bronco, her hips slapping against his with a wet, slapping sound that echoed through the alley. Slap, slap, slap. "Fuck me. Fuck me like you hate me," she screamed, her voice cracking. "Use me like a piece of meat. I'm a whore, Twitchy. I'm a dirty old whore, and I want to be used." Twitch was grunting and sweating, his face turning red. He tried to thrust up, but his body was betraying him. He was too tired. He was too old. But Bernice wouldn't let him quit. "You're going to come for me," she commanded, her voice dropping to a whisper. "You're going to fill me up. You're going to cream pie me until I drip out the ears. She grabbed his face and forced him to look at her. Come on, you old fool. Give me everything you've got. Give me the last drop of your life. Suddenly, Twitch's body went rigid. He let out a strangled cry and shoved his hips up as hard as he could, impaling her to the hilt. I'm coming! I'm coming! He shrieked. Bernice screamed back, her body convulsing as she felt him spasm inside her. She squeezed her internal muscles tight, milking him for every last drop. It was messy. It was hot. It was the filthiest thing either of them had ever experienced. Oh, yeah. Give it to me, she yelled, her head thrown back. Drink it all up. Save it for later. He collapsed back onto the soggy cardboard, his chest heaving. Bernice slumped on top of him, her sweat mixing with his, her face buried in his neck. She stayed there for a moment, just breathing, the smell of decay and sex filling her nose. Then she pushed herself up and looked down at him. Now, she said, pointing a shaking finger at the wet cardboard beneath them, lick me, clean me up, use your tongue to scrape the garbage off my thighs. I want to taste our sex mixed with the smell of the alley. Twitch stared at her, his eyes glazed over. I can't, Bernice. I'm dead. Get up, she growled, slapping his face. You're not dead. You're just lazy. Now lick me. She spread her legs wide, revealing the messy, glistening sight of her used-up womanhood. Do it, or I'm telling Tyler you couldn't get it up again. Twitch groaned, and slowly, painfully, he lowered his head to her crotch. He began to lick, his tongue moving over the grime and the fluids, making wet, slurping noises that sounded like someone drinking soup through a straw. Bernice closed her eyes and smiled. There we go. That's a good boy. Now, let's go get that pie.